Yo. Oh. Hindi ko narinig sarili ko. Ay, yan. Okay. Yo, I'm back. Like a few minutes lang. So, Python to. We move to C Sharp. Laking jump. Like, I don't know. Laking jump. Sobra. Like, damn. Nakapanibago to. C Sharp. How? Okay, nakita ba sa OBS? Yung tinatype ko. Alright. Hold up. Paano ba to? So, walang mag-add title. New. Ito na lang. New. Ito yung new. Ay, hindi. Ito lang. Add scene. Scene 3. Add source. Wait lang. Sige. Just wait. Hey yo. I'm back. Tara. So basically, how do you use percentage division? How um how different is Python C Sharp to Python? Malaking jump. Type language meaning variable type is declared. Compile time dynamically where preferred at runtime. More safety and potential catching errors earlier. Okay. Minimalist. C Sharp uses curly braces to define. So, puro curly braces. Oh my god, buti na lang. Terminate. Considering if heard C Sharp is easier to transfer to other language. Month ago, very same. I have made some progress with the basics, however, we have the same situation. At school, I noticed C Sharp Visual Basic have been shown you can basically drag and drop stuff on the screen. Oh, actually, meron ako nakita. Pag nag-GUI ka to sa C Sharp, sino ba yun? Nakalimutan yung pangalan eh. Gumawa siya ng game within a week or something. And sobrang sobrang in-depth niya. Should I drop Python and drop Python switches C Sharp. Some is just to learn programming. Obviously, C Sharp is transferred to other language, but on the other hand, Python is more portable and is easier to understand, which I believe make it more or less transferable. Additionally, I heard encourages to more ignorant. Okay, fair enough. We have the same situation happening. WinForms is indeed, as a beginner programmer, to learn think. Procedurally and logically, you can learn that C Sharp, Python, think. Actually, knowing how to code. If you are reading already. I don't recommend Visual Basic. If programming was a complete failure. Plus Python actually achieve. Yeah. Actually, .NET ang ginagamit din dun eh. If you go C Sharp, don't jump without WinForms right from the start. Start with console apps so you learn this language starting from WinForms. What the hell is WinForms? And recommended learning URGF from framework. Okay, I have no idea about C Sharp. Never ko tinignan to. Never kasi wala talaga idea sa C Sharp. Actually, ang C Sharp is, what is C Sharp used? Alam ko marami siya compared kay Python. And mostly apps, software apps. I believe. Ayan, game development, and then alam ko .NET ang framework .NET from Microsoft. So galing kasi sa Microsoft tong C Sharp. Reorganize much faster. True naman, mas faster si C Sharp kaysa kay Python, and that is understandable naman. OOP, object-oriented daw siya. Desktop app, C#. So desktop apps. Python is more on scripting, you know. Okay. C# in 100 seconds.
C#, a static
The best. Mapindot man ako niya itong mga ganito. Yung pinaka-basics or pinaka-broad, lang talaga, introduction.
typed general-purpose programming language, famous for being the workhorse of the Windows.NET framework. It was created in the year 2000 by Anders Heilsberg at Microsoft. It was designed as a modern C-like object-oriented language and was originally going to be called Cool. Initially, it was criticized
Ano siya? Microsoft-oriented, so literal parang gumagawa ng apps sa Windows.
as imitation Java, but it's evolved into one of the most popular and well-loved languages to this day. It can be used to build almost anything, like desktop apps on
Apps,
.NET
yes.
Core, cross-platform mobile apps with
Mobile
Xamarin,
apps kasama yun. So actually,
Web
maghanap ko muna kung anong gusto. Pero ako, so C#, siyempre basics muna tayo.
applications with Blazor, and video
Web apps.
games with the Unity
So, very flexible pala, no? Flexible ba talaga si C#? Flexible. C#? C++ daw eh. Their programming versatility, Python. More flexible. C#, both. Python is easier than C#. Tama naman. Python is much easier. I don't know.
framework. It became open source software in 2014 and can be used to build apps outside of the .NET framework. C# code is compiled into an intermediate language, which can then be interpreted by the common language runtime, where it can be executed as native machine code on any operating system without the need to recompile. It's known primarily as an object-oriented language, but also supports functional lambda expressions and has the ability to write a declarative query on any data structure with a feature called link. It's a memory-safe language thanks to garbage collection, although it is possible to create an unsafe context if you want to allocate your own memory with pointers. To get started, install the .NET Core SDK, then open the terminal to an empty directory and
VS Code muna ako. Hindi mo na magda.NET.
run .NET
Kasi try ko PyCharm. Ang bigat ng PyCharm. So, ewan na to.
new to create a new application. That creates a
Si
program.cs
Zyger pinanood ko to.
file that imports the system namespace at the top, then provides a class with a main function, which is where your code will start executing. Declare a variable by starting with a type, followed by a name and value. By default, a value cannot be null, but you can make it nullable by adding a question mark to the type. Now, to organize our code and share it in other files, we will wrap it in a namespace. We can then create a new class inside the namespace that has a constructor when the class is instantiated, and a destructor when the class goes out of scope. Classes support inheritance, polymorphism, and everything else you would expect in a modern object-oriented language. We can define a property on the class and make it readable with get or writable with set. The language doesn't have top-level functions, but rather methods that are defined as a member of a class. However, it does support lambda expressions or anonymous functions and other functional task-based asynchronous pattern, allowing you to write non-blocking code using the async await syntax. Now, to the like button.
What the hell?
I have 1 week
Zyger.
to learn
Not
all
good
of
eh.
C# network implemented exists
Mukha siyang ng chat system.
and it's
Interesting nga eh.
but easy way to implement an interface into
Ayan, interface. Kung may interface din.
UI. Otherwise, I fail. So to solve that problem, I will be using something called WPF and WinForms.
WinForms. WinForms. Ayun nga yung ano nila eh. WinForms ba yung pinaka... Sabi nila, simulan mo daw sa WinForms. Or start it on WinForms. Nasaan ba yun? Sinabi dito eh. Habi natin. Ay lang banggit yun eh. Ayun WinForms. Ano ba yun? Visual Basic Both and WinForms option. Ano pinagkaiba nun? Like WinForms are good. But actually WinForms. So WinForms parang ano ba to? Hindi ko na alam eh. Particularly bad in very good episode. Bad? Bakit pangit siya? Flashy but build using WinForms. Simple. Okay. Right from the start. Yes. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. Ah, so hindi pa siya necessary. Hindi pa siya.
Which is basically an easy way to implement an interface into any project. So it's the next day, and I think it's good enough to get me the marks. So the actual step 1 is setting up the networking part. Just be the host themselves. Oh, actually the client app will also need to do a similar thing, so I'll create an instance and this time it will be the client. Yeah, we're connected. Okay, so yesterday I managed to get the main net. When you launch the app, you can enter. So
Siya maganda yung nagawa niya. Interesting ha, kasi nakagawa talaga siya ng chat system. Nakakonect na siya ping to ping. Ping to ping lang ba? Hindi ata eh. Hindi, basta something nagawa niya ng server. Hindi siya gumawa ng server eh. Alam ko parang local lang something ata siya. Then, working, yung nagawa niya talaga. Tapos meron pang ping na something. Interesting yan. Makagawa ka ng buong applications talaga. So, I think useful to if talaga gusto mong gumawa ng mga applications. Okay. May games pa sa C#. I'm pretty sure meron. Meron naman ata. Pero, .NET ang ginagamit dito.
C#.
Si Brocode. Ayan, the best yan si Brocode. Anong pinagkaiba niya? Ay, hindi. Ano ba to?
C++, C. It was intended for creating operating systems, and for having closed long time ago, C was created by Dennis Ritchie. It was intended for creating operating systems. Difficult to write due to the bare bones nature of the
C++.
compilers.
C#.
Oh god, the Vietnam flashbacks are coming. C++ is a very fast and powerful programming language. It has strong support for object-oriented programming and was created by Bajane Stroop. I'm sorry, this is C on steroids. Much like steroids, C++ has great results, but overuse can lead to heart failure, and these effects in men. And I can confirm these effects are real. The syntax of C++ is very complicated, as there are a lot of important moving parts to remember. The language has a especially if you're already suicidal. Arguably, C++ is not so difficult to use once you know the ins and outs of the language, used for game development, GUIs, browsers, and the CIA torture program. C# is a new kid on the block. Much like myself, C# doesn't really fit in with others and never will. It was created by Microsoft in the year 2000 and is a much higher level language when compared to C and C++. C# is also a lot slower than the other two. C# is object oriented and was designed to make web development easier and is basically just a copy of Java. The syntax is very similar to Java, and the learning curve is somewhere in the middle. Some may struggle to get a grasp of the concepts of object oriented programming. However, there are not so many low level concepts a programmer must understand. C# is very easy to use due to its high level nature and variety of libraries. C# is generally used for web development, Windows applications, and games development. To sum up, you see if you're looking to write high your will to learn.
Ma-apply ko lang siguro si C# in terms of gaming. Wala akong nakikitang gawin sa C#. Wala talaga. Sa Python, I think I could do some scripting. I could get onto that. That's no problem. Maybe machine learning here and there. I'm very interested. In C#, am I really interested? I don't know. Maybe gaming. Yeah, C# games. I'm trying to find is active solution of how I will actively try to do this. That's how first. Ito, ano itong game nito eh? Laro sa mga lumang phones. Good though.
Back in 2020 at 19 years old, I just entered university and I was very excited to finally learn advanced C++. You know that...
Oh, C++. C++ as hell. Yun is cool. Damn, chess in C#. Hello world pa lang. Ito yung vowel count. Ano yan? Vowel count? Array exists. Move. Oh my god. Saan ba tayong simula? Kay Brocode na lang. Kay Brocode. The best.
Hey, what's going on?
May VS Code pa pala ako naka-open. Start tayo.
Going on, everybody? It's your bro. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, I'm going to show you all everything you need to know to get started writing code in C#. So sit back, relax,
Wala na,
and
di ko
enjoy
na
the show.
mapanood si visually explained. Pero magpapaitan pa rin ako here and there. Just from free time, I guess.
If you wouldn't mind, please like, comment, and subscribe. One
Done.
like equals one prayer for the YouTube algorithm.
Done.
I'm going to tell you why you need to learn C#. C# is a very flexible language. We can use C# for all sorts of things. Console apps, web services, games, and if you're an aspiring game developer, C# is definitely a language you want to learn, along with C++, but why not learn both? And the average salary for a C# developer, if you have some experience, is $63,000 per year according to Glassdoor. If that all sounds good, let's begin. To code with C#, we'll need an IDE. That's an integrated development environment. Think of it as software that helps us write other stat, then head to this URL at the top. Installation for different packages that we can download. You'll
Wait, VS. Oh, wait. Ano mana ni VS Code? Ay, ni VS Code. Ni C#. Actually, don't know if may C# pa yung VS Code ko. Actually, don't know. Take out muna yung mga natin. Ooh, don't save. What do I do? Running pa ba to? Lo, ano nangyari? Oh no. What the fuck? Ano nangyari? Hello? Bakit? Nawala lahat sa line? Uy, kaki nangyari. Bakit nasira yung ano niya? What the hell happened? Nasira yung ano niya. That's... Okay. Yun nga, unindented eh. NA? Nasaan yun? Oh my god, nasira na agad yung ano, yung oh my goodness, nasira na agad yung file. Okay. Just wanted to check. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. So, hindi ko pa rin actually nagagalaw yung VS Code. Alam ko lang paano mag-open ng file. That's it. I don't know anything. May mga extensions pa yan. Hindi ko lang din alam. At saka meron pa yung mga git something. Kuha tayo. Sa desktop na lang. On the documents. The downloads na. There we go. Okay. So, paano ba? File? Ito. New text file. Select a language. C#. Do you want yes? Ano yun? Ano to? Dev kit. What's this? Net. Hindi ko alam. I just installed it. C#. Oh my goodness. Sure.
I want to check .NET desktop development for using C#. And if you're interested in using Unity, you might as well just download this package too.
Cannot be located. .NET is not recognized. Okay. SDK is .NET nga to. Pero kagana naman siya, C#. Whoa, what the fuck? The fuck? My goodness.
Then we are going to install. You have the option to sign in, but I'm just going to click not now, maybe later. You can also pick a color theme for your IDE. I'm going to go with dark because I like to feel like a pretend elite hacker. Then start Visual Studio. Now with this home screen, we'll continue to create a new project. We'll go to File, New Project, select C# Console Application.
C# Console Application. Ba't di sa akin wala? Oh, what the fuck? kailangan mag-copilot. Actually, dapat maglagay na ako ng copilot ko yun. Tsaka GitHub. Siguro gawa akong GitHub maya konti. Kasi wala pa akong GitHub account. Disgrace ako. Wala pa akong GitHub account. Okay na? Pwede ka gumamit ng AI kay VS Code.
Next, we'll change the font as well as the font size by going to Tools, Options.
What? Ay, hindi, sa bagay, bagong version na yung kanya. Wala akong version kasi. Okay.
Fonts and colors, and you can change the size. And this will create a console window that displays our output of
Console.
the green play button at the top. And this will create a method is the body of the main method. So our program will begin by executing any code at the top of the main method, and it will work its way down and execute any subsequent code that follows. So this main method is made up of a bunch of words that we don't quite understand yet. Static, void, main, string, args. In time, we'll learn what each of these words mean, but that's more of an advanced topic. So a textbook that I read once said to think of the main method as like a magical spell or incantation that we have to say in order for our program to run. So let's see what happens if I remove the main method. I'll still keep this line though, Console.WriteLine, hello world, and let's try it. Okay, so it looks like there were build errors, so we cannot run the program as it is now. So we do need that main method, and if you are missing it, you can just type it in, and it should work now. Now this is a standard WriteLine method. Whatever text that we put within quotes will appear within our console window to display as output. So let's actually change it. Right now it says hello world, but let's type something else. So make sure that this is within double quotes. Let's change this to I like pizza. And so now my output should say I like pizza, and then you can add a second line of output just by writing Console.WriteLine. Then within parentheses and within double quotes, you can write something else like, it's really good. And now we have two lines of output. I like pizza, it's really good. So to write output to the console window, you type console.writeline, then within quotes, some text that you want to write. Okay. One thing that you may want to change is the font and the font size of your console window, because right now it's very difficult for me to read. So to change that, right-click in the top left corner, go to Properties, then go to Font. Let's increase this to maybe 28. You can pick a new font style as well. I'll keep it the same. Then you can also change the color scheme too. I'll change the screen text to maybe green. Then, okay. Alright, but now this window is huge, so let's change that. So again, go to the top left corner, go to Properties. Yeah, that's not too bad. Console.beep. Parentheses
console dot something. So kailangan mo na gawin tong program parang main
is semicolon.
Nested siya dun sa ano.
Colon. So then our program is going to beep when it reaches the end. It's not really important at all. I just thought it would be something fun to throw in at the end of this video. In the next video, we'll cover more on output and comment.
Siguro ko nasunod ako. Kasi clear naman siya explain. Tsaka free nga lang siya eh. Full course free. Ano yung PyQt5? C Sharp 50
hey,
videos.
What's going on everybody?
Output.
Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your bro, hope you're doing well, and in this video I'm going to show you all a few different ways in which we can format output in C Sharp. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Okay.
If you find this video helpful, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support will help keep this channel running. Alright,
variables, constants. Oh, typecast. Okay, typecasting. User input, arithmetic operators, fair, math class. Oh my god. Hypotenuse, calculators, string methods, if methods, switches, logical operators, while loops, for loops, nested loops, calculator, arrays. Ho. Kung sa Python, nandito na ako sa Python. Dito na. So basically, nagpas na ako ng medyo nasa na ako, intermediate. Generics, multi-threading. Okay. We got a long way to go.
Everybody, here's a few different ways in which we can format output in C#. As we covered in the last video, to display something to a console window, we would type Console.WriteLine, then you need a set of parentheses, then a semicolon at the end. You place your message within the parentheses. This is known as a method. And we have a semicolon at the end. The semicolon is kind of like the period at the end of a sentence. When we finish a statement in programming, we end it with a semicolon. So to display a message, within double quotes, you would type something. So this is known as a string literal. We're literally printing something to our console. So we kind of covered this in the last video. This will display the word hello. Now there's another way in which we can display output. That is just write. Console.write parentheses semicolon. And within quotes, let's display something else. What about, hey, now let's take a look at the difference between the two. Alright, we have hey immediately followed by hello, all in the same line. In the last video, we used two WriteLine statements. Each string literal had their very own line, but in this case, it's all one line. So with WriteLine, after you finish your string literal, it's going to hit enter like we're hitting the enter key and we'll move down to a new line. Write doesn't do that. So you have two different ways in which you can display output to the console window. Write and write a new line, depending on you type C, then hit tab to what you need. Now there is a shortcut to create a WriteLine statement. You type C, then hit tab twice, and that will auto-generate a WriteLine statement for you.
Does that even work? Whoa, 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 whoa.
C, then hit tab twice, and that will cut to create a WriteLine statement. You type C, then hit tab twice.
Chart sa akin eh. I don't know. Checked. I don't know yet. Okay.
And that will auto-generate a WriteLine statement for you. Okay, so the next topic to cover is comments. We can add a comment to our code, and this will not be displayed as output. So to write a comment within your code, you need 2 forward slashes. You can see that the color of our text changed to green. So I'm going to type, this is a comment, and this has no effect on our output. This comment will not be seen. All we see here is hey and hello.
Okay.
This is a multi-line comment. Then to end a multi-line comment, you would end it with asterisk, then forward slash again. And last but not least, we have a...
So wait. Oh.
And hello. You can also write a multi-line comment. You would type forward slash asterisk.
Forward slash asterisk. Oh, okay. Wait lang.
Comment, then forward slash again.
Baliktad lang. Okay. There.
And last but not least, we have escape sequences. We can add an escape sequence to a string to format our output. So let's create a WriteLine statement and type whatever your name is. Okay, now to create an escape sequence, we need to add a backslash followed by a certain character. Depending on what character you select, it's going to have a special effect on your string. So if I typed backslash T, that will add a tab escape sequence before displaying my name. Alright, so we have a tab before my string. So let's change this to maybe a backspace. I'll add that here. So backslash B, that will add a backspace. And my name is now BR code. So that will add an effect on your string. So if I typed backslash T, that will add a tab escape sequence before displaying my name. Alright, so we have a tab before my string. So let's change this to B, that will add a backspace. And my name is now BR code. Alright, so we can also do new line. Backslash N for new line. So my first note that there's all this garbage at the end of my console window when my program is done running. So one way in which we can hide that, at the end of our program, type console.read key. So basically this will prevent our program from ending until we type a key. My program is going to finish running. Alright everybody, so if I hit the enter for a few, well then my program is going to finish running. Alright now, so if I hit the till we type a key. And it should be hidden now, so if I hit the enter key, well then my program is going to finish running. Alright everybody, so those are a few ways in which we can
Console.ReadLine. Pero ano tong SAS program? Like, I don't get it. Like, kasi wala talaga, blank lang yung ano ko eh. Yung C sharp ko eh. Diba? It's C, kasi hindi ko talaga alam. I don't know that.
In this video,
It was something. Basics pa rin.
Why did I?
in this video, we're going to learn how to write C#. You have the basic starting file with the main function,
Ba't wala akong starting file?
and you can press the start button up here to run your code. And as soon as you do, the code compiles, and yep, it runs. It opens a window, and so you can do that by accessing the console and running the WriteLine function, and close immediately.
Ba't wala yung akin? Ha? Oh, it's me. C# console starting code. Sa akin wala.
form.
And then optionally,
Wala ba yung medyo bago?
I'm coding every single day for the next 3. This is day 15 of my 300 ping speed test.
Like, bearing nyo. Wala ba? Filipino, Tagalog. Sa SDPT. Kailan ko mga sa SDPT? Ano si
Hi.
Idol to.
Ikaw
Actually, hindi ko pinapakinggan yung ano kasi counter siya ng C or C sharp. Eh, hindi mo lang interest mag C sharp.
Hi guys, my name is Phrase.
Si Phrase, so magaling to eh.
Programmer. Muna yung gawin yung libangan eh. Maganda rin tong libangan kasi mahasa yung utak nyo at pwede nyo pagkakita yung programmer. Tapos then, development.
.NET gamit niya.
Nyo lang yung general path sa
Maganda ba .NET? Gusto ko sa VS Code lang eh.
Mag-Android din tayo tsaka iOS kaya check nyo lang din sa map.
Pero feeling ko .NET din gagamitin namin. So, mga .NET din gamitin ko.
Andito yung mga commits ko sa getting started na branch. Ang isa pa ng Console.ReadLine. Last line. Madidetect yung changes natin which is ito. Kaya yung gagawin nyo lang sa
Saan ba? VS Code or ano? Ay, God. Anong IDE? O nga, anong IDE gagamitin ko? Ano sana? VS Code kasi para lahat na.
Format output in C#. Output, that is just, hey, what's going on everybody? That main method, and a console win bottom, or you can change the, we'll go to File, New, Project, select C# console application, next. We'll need
Walang ganon. Yun. Walang ganon, man. Wala akong ganon. What the fuck?
Need a name for this project.
Coding for beginners and introduction.
Hey
This
guys,
DVD.
welcome sa panibago nating tutorial series which is yung basics C# yung mapapansin nyo pagka nag-scroll down ng konti.
Ay, di
wait
rin
nyo lang
gamit
yung
niya?
labas ulit yung gusto nyo yan. So, and guys, yung VB, eto C# lang. And makikita nyo may download button dito, then pagka hinover natin,
Visual Studio lang kami, hindi code.
community, may professional, may enterprise. So, yung professional tsaka enterprise, meron niyang bayad. So, trial lang yan. Kaya, i-download natin is yung free. Ito yung nakalagay. Total YouTube, tutorial dito. So, pwede kayo zoom in muna. Kailangan isipin nyo ng masyado.
Damn, naka Windows 7 pa siya. Ito yung time naka Windows 7 din ako.
Kasi nga, hindi yun yung pagpafokusan natin for today. Basta, know this na dun sa loob ng main, ito yung gusto nyo. So, sa akin, and hopefully, tutorial. So, makikita nyo dito. So, pwede kayo C# YouTube tutorial. Meaning, ito yung pangalan ng project natin. Okay, then makikita nyo meron ditong using system. So, hindi mo natin pag-aaralan yung using yan. So, sa next time natin pag-aaralan yan.
Sorry.
Okay? So,
Data
basta, ang
types.
gusto ko lang na malaman nyo, makikita nyo ito yung names. Makikita nyo meron ditong dalawang. Kasi ito nga yung, kung napindot nyo na aksidente, makikita nyo pagka napindot ko to, may lalabas dito na something na
SDK kasi, ayan, SDK. Pag lagi ka nagka-crack, malalaman mo SDK. Nalaman ko lang din yan. Kasi pag nag-ano ka SDK, nakalagay dyan yung mga edit files. Ang dami kong ganyang files sa PC. Hindi ko lang alam kung para saan. Buti wala pa namang virus yung PC ko. Ang dami ko nadaan ng SDK.NET file framework. Lalo pag nagka-crack ka ng mga applications. Laging kailangan ng .NET.
hindi nyo
Oh my god.
maintindihan. Ang kailangan nyo lang
So far, wala akong virus. Wala akong virus dahil sa SDK or .NET frameworks. Mostly kasi alam ko mga ano lang naman yan. Mga files na kailangan i-run ng game. But minsan kasi meron mga edit functions na ginagawa sila para ma-edit to.
gawin is
Pero hindi pa naman.
close nyo lang
so
to,
far.
nakalagay C# YouTube tutorial .csproj. So, close ko lang yan para bumalik tayo dun sa program. So, makikita nyo para din yung Google Chrome or sa iba pang browser, meron din tab. So, ito yung kanan dito sa ating solution console application. So, tawag nga dun application. Tinaype ko dito, aralan natin.
Men, ba't wala akong ganyan, men? Wala akong ganito. Ano to? Paano ko i-start? How to make a new project C# project in VS Code.
TK. We're going to start on the Visual Studio Code website. And this gives me everything I need no matter what you're getting started with inside of VS Code. So tools for VS Code. I'm going to go ahead and call the C# extension, but we can see extensions allow me to
Ooh, ito pa yun. Oh, C#.
extend VS Code with different language support and other things to enhance my productivity. C# is sort of the base. Now this depends on the C# extension, so it actually gets both of them at the same
.NET framework. What the fuck?
time. The C# dev kit has opened up here, and I'm going to get a few different pop-ups. Link my
Go ahead.
Microsoft account to use the C# sign in really quick. The terminal, I don't yet, so that's okay. And give me every SDK has been installed. Now I do want to read that. Console apps, libraries, and see all of the different things that you can do. So I'm just going to mark this as done, and we're totally off to the races. Project is going to
Okay na ba? Ito. Create that
load up all
project. Okay. Oh my god, wala akong idea at may pipindot ko
of
dito.
the templates. That's console apps.
May template siya. Mag-start ka ng template. Console lang ata hanap ko dito. Console app. Hindi ko alam yun.
Playwright test process. So I'm just going to go ahead and I want to put the very first web API, which would be great. So I'm just going to click on that web application 1, it into a new folder called code. There we go. That sounds good. Select the folder there. Example. So this is going to create a folder there. Web application 1, perfect, and create the project. So here, after I trust friends, so Q.O, and that will show me everything installed on this machine in my .NET O. And that will version here, and this is going to be or just Android. I just love to drag and drop this up top. VS Code, load, search, And this is going to show me additional workloads that I can add. Add on. So if I want to do Maui development or Aspire development or just Android or iOS development, I'm good to go there. So a few things you want to note over here is you have your traditional file explorer that's part of VS Code. But if I look down here, I can see a solution explorer, and I just love to drag and drop this up top.
Ano yun? Solution explorer. Create.net. Console up. Tayo sa Python projects pala yan. Desktop. C Sharp. Go. Uy, ano yan? SLN? Ano yung SLN? Ano yan? Uy, gago. SLN. What the hell? SLN at SLNX. Uy, ano to? Men, hindi ko alam yun.
Pag in-enter ko to, ayan, and Control S.
Gamit kasi nila Visual Studio lang. Hindi Visual Studio Code. Which is iba talaga. I'm just raw dogging this like literal wala akong alam, just raw dogging it, man.
So the time has come. Method. The first one we want. So I'm gonna alongside with email support and access to a of course you will have made your own RPG in Unity. On this channel we of course also solution. If you sign up for his course, you can see if we upload main a cup of coffee CS file, there's some default code inside. Now this might look really scary to you, but don't worry. You don't.
How do I get this? Try natin mag fuck around. Sure. Okay. I'm in. Ito na, program.cs, hello world. Wait. Ano to? Oh my goodness, ang dami pa kailangan gawin. Sige. Basta wag ako, ma-virus. Holy shit. Ayoko na, Python na lang ako.
You don't need to understand everything that's going on. In fact, we can ignore everything. We call this the entry method because it's called when our program starts. In other words, the stuff that we put inside of these two curly brackets is going to run when we open our program. Right now, we just have two lines inside of this method. The first one.
Wait, I'm gonna go big, like literal. What are you? Yung pinakabago kasi I think new. Yung very new to. this month.
Thing like yeah, we have perform whole thing. Machine thing that we can understand that how we
Binary.
can represent our
Low
alphabets
level.
in binary understands the
I agree.
use to learn the Visual Studio.
Hey everybody, this is Sala and you guys are welcome to see our save
I
button.
don't want that. I want console lang muna. I'll take this year. Basta ay maayos.
Use the
Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey. Welcome to my complete free C# course.
Hello everyone, and hello every comes the float data type.
Yung yan, EA ka salita, huwag yan.
All you need to learn to code these days is a laptop, or again, the resources that really everybody
Sure,
code.
pinarali, diba?
The big uncommon to hear people taking 6 months to more than a year of full-time study in order to become employable as a watch.
Baba pa nga yun eh.
Allows you to focus on what truly matters.
Wait.
Bringing your...
Wait. What's this? Wait, na-post niyo ba yung Microsoft? Libre lang naman ata eh.
Welcome logically and solve problems effectively through programming. We'll guide you through... Now that we've...
Libre lang ba to? Excuse me. Ano to? Oh, so that right. Ay. Wait, so wala na bang starting ngayon? Magra-run na siya. Oh wait, I forgot. Kasi galing kasi akong Python, sorry. Kunyari, that, right. Wait lang. Hi. Hindi siya mag-ana. Oh, sorry. Typo. Run. Oh. There you go. Ay, nag-print pa rin siya kasi... Wait. So we cancel that, right? Okay. So I think kagana naman pala si kunyari magagawa ako ng text file C#. So let's say may na ginawa niya kanina. Console dot write line. There you go. Ayun. I don't understand.
Providing
Prints out the words hello world button. Write some code here to make it more exciting. Curly brackets and like a container with a bunch of things inside. If we write a dot here, we can access all the things inside the console class. As you can see, there are a bunch of different things here that we can use. And most
Pwede ko ba gamitin yan? Ayun. I think may mali talaga sa may file ko. Kasi hindi ko na-install na maayos yung C#.
Hello everyone, this is Ian of in and here you can see a download is, and there you can just and here folder and search over here. Dev kit may take 2 to 3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes, so I'll just fast forward the video. And here you can see the installation is complete. So after this we also need to install this package as well, C# IntelliCode. Here you can see IntelliCode. Also you can just search it over here as well. So here you can see install option, so I'll just click on install. So it will take some time again, so I'll just again fast forward the video. So there you can see IntelliCode is installed. So right now so in order to check whether C# is installed properly, what we need to do is that we need to just search over here cmd, press enter, and let me just zoom in. We need to say over here dotted minus version. Press enter, and here you can see it is showing us the dotted version. It means C# is perfectly installed. So we can just close this, and right now let's go this setting option at the bottom, and here you need to search. So what we are going to do is that we just click on this setting option at the bottom. Here you can see, click on this, and here you can see command plate. Just click on command plate, this one. Here you can see new project, and here directory. So I'll click on default directory. So right now here files and folder, and here you can see my first console app.csproj, and here you can see program.cs, and here, so in order to run it, let me just make it bigger. Here you can see at the right upper corner over here, and click over here debug console. Here you can see hello. If I now click on it, and right now if I just make it bigger over here and click on hello button again.
Oh my god, hindi pala siya nalabas dun. Ayun, nag-print siya. Starting at 6. Hindi na siya ganito. Ito na lang siya. So bagong programming style na to, kaya pala nagtataka ako kung iba itsura niya. Ang bagal. Ba't hindi siya agad nag-open? Pinindot ko na. Oh! Ang dami siya chine-check! Para lang mag-run ng 2 linya ng code. Sobrang tayo mong i-run. default kasi ni net 6 daw is ganito na. Starting net 6, eto na yung C# code. Hindi na siya gagamit ng ganito. Using system, and my space, gagamit ka pa ng main program.
Most of these has one of two icons. These are want to change the and indeed there's a property.
Kay ChatGPT tayo magtanong. Si ChatGPT ang up to date eh. Excuse me. Beginner friendly. Totoo ba siya? Download here. Open. Meron na akong code eh. Marami na kaiban. So, mas maganda sa VS Studio. Okay. Mas maligaan si... Dito lang tayo sa code. Hindi natin kaya ito i-run. .NET file. Just be better and up. Tingin mo gagamitin pa rin kaya to? Most likely, dito sila natuto. So, ito gagawin nila. Hindi na ito gagawin. Pero kung ako, takin na, dali na ito. Para ka nagpa-Python. Pero, try natin i-learn din to. Which is better though. Ayun, dali na ito. Very clean. Let me see if you want to put everything in one file. Kaya pala hindi na ganing apps ko kasi wala pala ako noon. Okay. Yun, magkayo sila. Unable to launch. Paano? Bakit ba? Ay, wala na. Ay, iba ba? .cs. Okay, .cs. .cs. Ayun pa rin eh. dito? 9? Ano lang. Okay na daw eh. Ay, God. Wala oh. Uy, gagi, ba't ano nangyari? Ako dyan. Ow, 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 ow. Hindi na siya dark mode, aray, aray. Ano nangyari? Ano nangyari? Ba't hindi na siya dark mode? Ang pangit. Ang pangit. Sobra. Laka, ang pangit, gagi. Hindi siya dark mode. Hindi ito yun. Hindi ito yun. Ano nangyayari? Hindi ko na alam na nangyayari sa Visual Studio ko. Yun. Hello? Yan. Ano to? Wait ba yan? Yung ano, pangit na. Feeling ko talaga may mali akong ginagawa sa ano eh. Installation eh. Yung dev kit may error ata or something. May error yun. Tatabi. Fuck it.
Here called title. So I'm going to hit enter in order to autocomplete that. And we can now change this title by simply setting it equal to whatever we want. So I'm going to make an equal sign here. And whenever we're dealing with text, we want to make sure to put it inside of 2 quotation marks. So I'm going to call my console Skynet, so those of you who've watched Terminator. And after this line is done, we want to go ahead and insert a semicolon. In general, if we're writing code that tells our program to do something on this line, we end it with a semicolon. Things like remembering to put a semicolon, knowing when to put in quotation marks, and all of this stuff is what we refer to as syntax. In the beginning, it might feel awkward and a bit scary, but don't worry, you get used to the syntax very quickly. So now if we go ahead and run our program here, you can either go up here or just press F5, we can see that indeed we've now changed the window title to Skynet. Awesome. And we can actually also change the color of our text. This is just as easy. We just go console, and this time we look for a property modifying color. So I'm going to search for color here. And as you can see, there's both a background and
Kino-control mo yung pinaka-console. Like, for real. Console talaga.
a foreground color. I want to modify the text, so I'm going to choose foreground color here. And let's go ahead and set that equal to. And in order to see the different colors that we can choose between, we are going to write console color dot, and here we get a bunch of options. So I'm going to set mine to a programmer's green and simply end that line with a semicolon. And indeed, if we now run our program, we can see that the text is green. Awesome. And we can even change the size of the window itself. Let's do this by going console. And let's go ahead and change the window height. And here we can just set this equal to some number. And the number is going to represent how many lines tall our window is going to be. So I'm going to set this to 40 or 40 lines tall. And as you can see, our window is now much taller. Awesome. So that's how you can modify properties in order to change the appearance of your console. Now let's go ahead and write something more exciting that actually makes our console do things. So I'm going to get rid of this line right here that says hello world. And instead, I'm going to write my own. So I'm going to write console dot. And here we want to look for a method. So one of the boxes here, I'm going to again put in a WriteLine here. And whenever we are calling a method, we want to put in an open parenthesis, close parenthesis, followed by a semicolon. So I'm going to put in an open parenthesis here. As you can see, it auto-completes the other one. And before we put in our semicolon, this method would like to know what it should write. This is called an argument. Arguments are values that we give to the method to use. Some methods don't take any arguments, while others can take many different ones. As you can see here, this method actually takes 18 different arguments. We can give it a whole number, a decimal number, some text, and so on. So there's a bunch of options for us here. In our case, we want to give it some text. So again, we're dealing with text here, so we remember to put this inside of quotation marks. And I'm going to write, hello, what's your name? And again, let's finish the line with a semicolon. So now we're writing, hello, what's your name in the console. Then we can have the user type in their name. To do this, we use another method. Let's create some new lines here. And for this, we write Console.ReadLine. So just like we can have the console write a line on its own, we can also read a line from the user. And again, this is a method. So we're going to open and close 2 parentheses and put in a semicolon. As you can see, this method doesn't take in any arguments. And if we now run this program, we can see that it asks for our name. I'm going to go ahead and put my name, put in a semicolon. As you can see, this method doesn't take in any arguments. And if we now run this program, we can see that it asks. So far, we are kind of starting to get a conversation going. So let's simply add some more code to make it more interesting. Let's add another console x9000. I'm an AI semicolon. and then we can have it write another line. And there are actually two ways to create a new line. One that is of course going to write 2 lines. However, we don't actually need to call the function twice. Instead, we can n side of the text itself and put in a \n. Just gonna type in mark here. We can see that it says,
yung input niya, hindi ka naghihingi ng input. Matic input agad, kada enter.
My name is RX9000, just like we wrote it here. Then it creates
Hindi mag-i-stuck yan kasi hindi ka naghihingi ng input.
a new line. I'm an AI sent from the future to destroy mankind. And then it creates a new line here so that program answer with console and add a read line here so that we can input our favorite color, Console.ReadLine. And then we can have the program answer with Console.WriteLine call. Mine is destruction. And indeed, if we run this now, we get to type in our name. It asks us for our favorite color. I'm going to type in purple here. And it says cool, mine is destruction. I think this AI means so sometimes it can be handy if you can write comments in your code to help you remember what is going on. This is actually really simple. If we go to the top here, we can maybe add a comment. And the syntax for this is //. And here we get our program. And we can actually add them after a line as well, like that. You move on, just learned to create a short branches to use Console.WriteLine and Console.ReadLine like we just learned to create a
read line yung input. Okay.
Short story where the user created. A proud knight named, let's input, Eric, walked into a bar. At the counter, he met I'm going to write talking bear, who asked him what he wanted to drink. Let's input lemonade. Lemonade, shouted the knight. The bartender shushed him quickly, but it was too late. A dragon ate them both.
Okay.
Alright, so it's maybe not the best. This is made just using changing the foreground color. You can do this during your program to get different line colors. If you want background color, you can do it yourself.
Foreground color.
That's your challenge. Complete whether you are stuck or that's just something you really.
Fuck VS Code. I can't even learn. I can't do shit. I can't do shit in VS Code. I'm gonna learn with this one, not Fidel. Console.ReadLine. Kasi wala siyang adapt. So, mine manual. Instant recognize. Nasaan yung run? Ito lahat pwede. Read line niya, diba? Oh my goodness. Hello world. Hi. Okay. Oh shit, sorry. Hi. Console.WriteLine. What's your name? Run. The world. Hi. Okay, then console read line. Nada. Line. You like eat. Okay. Hi. Pero wala pa lang deadline, sorry. The 9. Hindi ko alam paano gawin yung foreground color.
To destroy mankind.
Yung foreground color. Foreground color. Ayun. Foreground color console color green equals gago. Pala may ganyan talaga yung kanina pa. Dot green. Pwede ba yan? Hi. Pizza. What yun? 39.48 M. Iba yun sa kanya no? Ang hirap kasi mag-ganto. Ang daming version ng C#. Alin yung aaralin ko?
Dot now we get
But,
a lot to take in.
This is pretty solid start. Ayun o. Readline. I don't think readline nakakuha yan ng data from you. Literal, parang readline lang yan. Parang stopping point. Still.
And that you can see hello to Visual Studio. So this is how you can install C# and run the C# project in Visual Studio.
Same kami. To be fair, gumagana naman si Visual C Studio Code, whatever. Don't save. C#. To, CS, console app. O, ayun o. Ang bagal nga lang. All projects, then nakita mo siya sa hi world. Hello. Console.ReadLine. Try natin. Ba't ang tagal niya respond? Like, oh, diba? Tingnan ako ganina. What's your name? Ay, wait. Okay. All goods. Bagal talaga, sobra. Hi. Oh, that works. That works, kind of. Hindi makita. Ay, sana. Food. Console. Dot. Right. Line. Mine's pizza. Tapos, hindi ko alam paano ibahin yung kulay. Ayun, parang alam ko. Okay. Yun, hello world. Hi. What's your name? What's your favorite food? Barbecue. Mine's pizza. Oh, diba?
And now we get and select the one. And this, all right, example, I could right click and I can say go to.
Screw that shit. I don't.
Hello and
Some develop. So with this architecture,
If you want to learn how to in this video, we're going to lay the exactly what we're going to be making in this video. But first, this video is just updating the whole template workflow, is that everything is synchronized with your desktop version, so no matter where you are, you can make sure that those great ideas aren't lost. If you want to have a tool at your disposal, template workflow, Milanote is now option. Now you can automation and font. However, one thing about variables that we need to understand is that they can have different types.
Integer,
The variable type
strings,
indicates what type of information we want the variable to hold.
Yes.
If we go back to our have a round kinds of types, but in C# we work with 4 mental data types. Number 1,
Bool.
number. Again, it covers, but you want
Understandable.
number 3, the string. Sometimes
Write line, what is your name? And then we create a variable. So on a new line here, I'm going to type string because a name is made up of text and name. The standard naming convention is
so ganun lang. String.
store text. Individual words separated with a capital 1. So user name. The standard naming convention is to have the variable start with a non-capital letter and then have individual words separated with a capital 1. So user name, and we can go ahead and set this equal to some name. And again, whenever we're working with strings, we want to put this inside of quotation marks. So we could just put in John here, and then end it with a semicolon.
Okay.
Read line with the semicolon. However, we don't know the name beforehand, so instead of assigning our variable to
Mag-input tayo.
John, we want to put here Console.ReadLine. In other words, we are saying that we're creating a variable called username of type string, and we're setting it equal to whatever the user.
Oh, shit. So hindi ka na mag-input. That is very handy. Yes.
Types in. What we can then do is use this variable however we'd like. So underneath here, for example, we could go Console.WriteLine and have the program respond, and we could have it say something like hello. And then here I'm going to go outside of the quotation marks, and I'm going to add another word to this. So I'm going to use the plus sign to append a word, and I'm going to put in the username. And then we can actually keep doing this, so we can add on more strings here. So we can add on a plus again that goes, comma, nice to meet you. There we go. So you can see how we've constructed a. So if we run this program now, let's go run, start debugging. The program asks us to put in a name. Using it afterwards isn't very start out by colors in our program. However, just displaying a name isn't very exciting. Using it. So this is Johnson, and indeed it says, hello Dwayne Johnson, nice to be very excited, and showing the result by creating some variables. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and then multiplying them and showing the result. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this code, and I'm actually going to start out by creating some variables. Now I'm going to make an integer here, that means a whole number, and I'm going to call it number 1. It's okay to have numerics inside of a variable name as long as you start with a letter. So this is totally fine. So number 1. And we could go ahead and set this equal to some number, say 5. However, we want the user to input this. So what we're going to do instead is actually not set it equal to anything, just put a semicolon here. This is called declaring a variable, because we're creating a variable, but we are not assigning it a value yet. And I'm actually going to do that for our second number as well. So let's create an int again. Let's call it num2 and just put a semicolon.
As you can see, we're currently getting a yellow underline on these two variables. And that's because if we hover over them, it says that they're declared, but they're never used. So let's go ahead and use them. To do that, let's first prompt the user to input a number. So let's go console.write, and I'm actually just going to type write here instead of WriteLine. This way we can input a number on the same line that we're asking the user to do.
I think nagigets ko na sasabi nilang OOP or object-oriented something ba yun? Kasi sa Python hindi ganyan eh. Mostly print. Dito parang halos lagi kang mag-i-input ng value.
So this looks a bit cleaner. We'll see that in a sec. So console.write, and I'm going to tell the user to input a number, and I'm going to put a space here. So there's a space between this line, our number 1, so our num1 and semicolon for that. And then we can set our number 1, so our num1 variable, we can set that equal to console.readline, just as we did with our name.
Console.write. Okay.
However, as you can see, this is giving us a red line. And if we hover over it, it says that it cannot implicitly convert type string to int. What this means is that whenever we read a line from the user could really input anything on the keyboard. It could be signs, text, or numbers. And so by default, when we read a line, it's of type string. And our num1 variable is of type int. So we want to go ahead and convert from a string to an integer. And we can do that using the convert class. So before this line, I'm going to write convert. And as you can see, we can convert to a bunch of different types here. I'm going to use the toInt and again.
Okay. So gets ko to. Kasi sa Python, convert ka, lagay mo lang siya int parenthesis something.
Again, there are
totoo nga yung sinasabi na connected pala lahat ng programming language.
Some different versions here, and that's just because we can have integers of different bit lengths. So the standard, so to say, is the 32-bit integer. And the only difference between these is how much memory they're taking up, and in other words, how large a number can they actually store. So in our case, we don't need to store incredibly large numbers, so 32 is going to be just fine. So I'm going to use toInt32. And then, because this is a function, we need to open a parenthesis, and we don't actually want to close it here. Instead, we want to input into this parenthesis here console.readline, because that's what we want to convert, and then we're going to close it over here. So in other words, what we're doing here is we're asking the user to type in a number. We're then saying, well, we want our number 1 to be equal.
Hindi ba pwede na? Ay, hindi. Number 1 convert
to whatever we pass in, and then we make sure to use a convert function to convert that to an integer so that it fits with our variable type. I completely understand if that's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was for me when I started out, but don't worry, you'll get the hang of it very soon. And before we move on to the second number, let's just try this out. So I'm going to hit F5 to start the program. As we can see, it asks me to input a number. I'm just going to put in 12 here. And nothing visually happens, but we know that we are now storing this variable, this number 12 here, in our number 1 variable. So let's go ahead and close this, and let's do that for the second number as well, so that we can multiply them together. So let's do console.write. We're going to say input a second number, and then we're going to set num2 equal to convert.toInt32, and the thing that we want to convert is console.readline. And as you can see, we're doing the exact same thing here and here.
Basically, yung first part is a print part, then yung second part is a readline part. So everything na ilalagay mo sa console.readline, i-convert niya to integer and magiging number 2. Yun lang naman yan eh. Console.write, input a number, prints yung first line, this one, then yung num01, ito siya, num01. So whatever mang happen dito, magiging ito siya. This one. So unang-una dyan, ito, convert readline, console readline. Gagawa ng console readline, kuha ka ng input from a user, then convert to integer, 32-bit daw yung ginawa niya. So same, okay. Then num01. So whatever happens here is a num01. So pag sinabi natin print num01, lalabas yung number dito.
Let's go down here and let's create
so, para siyang variable.
Third variable.
Variable, guys.
Again, int, and this is going to store the result. And we can simply set it equal to number 1, our first variable.
Result. Yun nga lang dito, magamit talaga sila ng talaga.
Multiplied by number 2, our second variable. And
No,
multiply these
result is a variable. Ma-identify ko alin yung variable, alin yung
two
key.
numbers. Let's go down here and let's create a third variable, again int, and this is going to store the result. And we can simply set
Result
it
yung pangalan ng variable.
equal to number 1, our first variable, is now going to
Console.WriteLine
here to add the result on. Let's type in a second number. I'm gonna really cool. So we've actually now run this program again and input say 1.5. It's going to throw us an error because 1.
Kasi hindi siya integers. Ang kailangan mo pag 1.5 is float. Float ba? Float ata ayan. Basta may
5
point.
is nothing. And to fix this, we can simply change the type of our variables from int to say float to store a decimal. Let's just do that. Or if you want it to be really precise, we can use a double. Actually, in our case, let's just do that. So let's change these two variable types to double. Instead of converting to an int 32, we want to convert to a double here. So we simply change this to convert to a double. And let's do that here as well. So 2 double. And then finally, the result as well. We also want that to be a double 2. And indeed, if we now run our program again, let's input a number. Let's do 4.5. And a second number, let's do 2.5. And indeed, the result is 11.25.
Ano yung double? Double number or double something?
Awesome. So now we can actually do really accurate calculations.
Typecast pa yun. C#. Ano yun? Parang 4 point something. Kay ChatGPT natin itanong. Si ChatGPT ang the best pagtanungan pag may questions eh. Double precision floating point number. Okay. Okay. Okay, normal pa rin siya. 5.0 nga lang. So, mag-work pa rin siya.
Relations with decimal numbers. And if you want to change this to say divide instead
mas maganda gamitin mo yung a double
of 5 by 2 and the multiply sign here, we use a sum together.
Sige, gagawa ako ng basic
the
something.
average. This challenge is going to be to divide 5 by 2 and the result is 2.5. Awesome. Now
Gagawa ako ng basic calculator, yung tatlo.
I want to give you a challenge to complete before the next video. This challenge is going to be to take the average of 3 numbers. See if you can do this in code by having the user input 3 different numbers. Then the program can calculate the average and write it in the console. Remember that to find the average of 3 numbers, we first add them together. So
add 3 doesn't get sabay divide
3. That gives them in case you want.
Okay, let's do that. Hold up. Wait lang.
All up mait.
The
Yo. Okay, excuse me. Okay, game. Ano yung gagawin yung way niya? Yung ginawa niya. So, gagamitin ko lang yung, which is yung built-in na ni VS Code. Sa Net 6 daw, which is yung updated version na ganito. Teka lang, that's actually people use the... Kay ChatGPT ang tanong. Medyo ChatGPT. Hindi, wala akong main method. Pero gets ko naman yung main method. Medyo tagilid lang. Kasi class program, hindi ko na alam yan. Pero si system. Because that always gets better. Hindi. Okay, so ito yung nakalagay dito and ito yung beginner. So, ito lang muna. Ayan muna natin. So, gagawa tayo ng gagawin natin yung ginagawa niya. Ano ba yung pinapagawa? Average. Average something. Something. I think 1. I think 2.
Average. Of course, I'll make sure.
Average. Okay. Gets ko naman. Ano yung ginagawa? Console title. Wala naman yung console title.
Substance a value
Meron ba?
a new
Ano ba?
line.
Okay,
Read
is it
take
helpful
a
or
station. A proud
may
night,
cause?
but it was too late.
Alam ko hindi naman. Ano ba siya sa taas? Okay. Okay, sige. But, in my case, hindi ako gagamit ng console. Hold up. Nahirap may sakit. Okay. Hindi siya nagamit ng console, in his case. Hindi naman ako nagamit. So, yeah. So, simple lang natin. Console.WriteLine. Hello world. Gawa tayo ng average getter. Number average. Ano bang pangalan? Average something? Ano bang pangalan?
We first add them together. Put 3 different numbers, then the average of 3 numbers, and then out of that, and
Getter. Okay. Okay, so doubles na gagamitin natin dito. Kasi doubles hindi nagamit nila. Tsaka pwede naman daw double kaysa integer. Pero pwede rin integer. Huwag ka lang maglagay ng point. Pwede naman mag-doubles. Then, pangalan sa number. Tatlo. Number 1. Dapat maliit lang daw. So, num1. Yan na siya. Num1. Num2. O yan. Tama. Num3. Okay. We're getting somewhere. But no more. Console. Write line. Input your number. Okay. Ayan, may bibigyan na naman siya ng clue pero hindi ko gagawin yan kasi hindi ko matamain. Kailangan ko ilagay yung read line kay number 1. Console.ReadLine. Will it do? Error pa siguro yan. May error na agad. Wow, first error ko sa C# read line. So hindi siya nalabas dito yung error. Compare mo kay Python, mabilis mag-identify error. Dito hindi. Diba? Anong mali? String returns null. Ano ba yung ginawa niya? Oh, hindi siya write line. Write lang. Bakit write lang? Ano pinagkaiba nila? Ay, okay. Okay, right? Moving a line afterward, the next thing you will print. Right, timeline. Example, hello world. Console.WriteLine moves na line break. Okay. That's it. Oh, so this one doesn't, it still moves, okay. So, actually, hindi naman mag-matter right line ba or hindi. So, hindi natin right line. Why not? Ito yun, alam ko yun. Ow. We need to convert first pala. Ay, hindi pala ako pwede hindi man nested kasi wala nga pala akong ano. Actually, print ka natin sila. Print tuloy, print. Console, right line. Pwede ko mag-right line.
Right plus here, where I'm gonna...
Pwede siya mag-right line. Right line. Hindi mo alam kung gagamitin na ito. So, num o 1. Okay. Will it what? Will it work? No. May hirap mag-code sa VS Code. Sobrang hirap. Hindi siya applicable para sa akin mag-code sa VS Studio Code ng ganito. Saan ba pwede? .NET. Ayoko kasi mag.NET eh. Like sa kanya kasi nagla-down. Sa akin hindi eh. Terminal lang nalabas din. Like di siya nalabas na maayos. No overboard.
The result...
Wait. Hold up. Is this a matter? Stop. Wait. No, I have my apostrophes. Apostrophes ba? Oh, apostrophes. Hindi ko pa kina-convert to int the 32. Alam ko lang kung paano siya gawin. Kagayahin mo naman kasi. Pero, I haven't done that yet. Convert to, ask natin si ChatGPT, bakit hindi ito nagana? Type, why does this don't work? Huh? Console line, what's happening? Always. Console read line always returns string text. But naman is a double. Okay. So, console read line is always a string text. So, since double to, hindi niya kinatanggap. But you can assign a string to a... But you can assign, okay. So, here, natin. So, palitan natin to si read line. So, kailangan nga talaga siya convert dot double to double. Yan. So, ngayon, kabam. 12. Yan. Okay, we're learning something here. Okay, we're learning something. So actually, dali na lang yan kasi bam. Bam. So, tapos papalitan mo lang yung variable. Kawan pala yan. Hindi mo na kailangan i-print. Hindi mo na kailangan i-print, sorry. But if pwede naman actually i-try. Okay. 12. 15. Oh wait, nag-add sila? Wait, what? 14. Oh no, what nag-25 to? Or na-typo siguro. Okay. No problem. Okay. So, ayan yung tatlo nating variable. Ngayon, iaano mo na sila. num1, num2, num3. Hindi ko alam paano yun. Ano bang starting nun? Paano ba siya gawin?
We take
Pwede ba yun? Pwede lang ba ako gumawa ng ganun? O kailangan ko pa rin maglagay ng double. Equals hindi, actually 0 1 plus 0 2. Kailangan ba sila? Actually, masira muna siya para malaman ko. Equals alright, actually yun muna. Tapos
my answer divide by 3.
pwede ba yun? O sige, ano ginagawa niya? Tapos console that write line your average is plus function din ba yun? Double. Ba't siya may pula? Hindi ko pa ginagawa yung int, ha? Oo, siguro, hindi ko pa siya ginagawang int. Double pa lang ginamit ko sa kanya. Try. Break it first before we understand. Okay. Ito bang double? Tama naman. Ay! Sorry. That should be a variable name. Wala. Total. Na lang. Total. Si total na lang. Sige, try natin. Ba't hindi ako nakakagawa ng variables? Paano ko siya gagawing variable? Like, kailangan ba ganun? Yeah, double. So kailangan ma-state po muna yung try. Si total. Tama ba yung ginagawa ko? Okay. 12, 15, and 10. Oh my goodness. 12.3334. Well, tama ba yun? Let's calculate. Calculator lang, please. Just a normal calculator will do. You know what? Fuck this. May calculator naman si ano eh. Okay, calculator. We got 12 plus 15 plus 10 by 3. 12.8. We made our first program. Okay. Number average getter. Double num. So, almost same principle lang sila ni Python. If titingnan mo ng maigi. Almost same lang. But, medyo complicated since kailangan mo precise. Indicate mo agad double. Anong klase siya? String, double, numbers. Double siguro may helpful. Siya lang palang integer. Gusto mo mas simple gawin natin integer. But, double ginamit ko. Yeah. Oh, wait lang. Ganito pala sila. Ayun. Yep. That's basically it. Needs tawag dito. Kalimutan ko yung tawag eh. Typecast pa yung tawag doon. Data type na lang variable. Yeah, that's about it. Convert to double. Yun, convert. Convert function is needed since read line cannot read strings. And only read strings. If I'm right, sinabi ni ChatGPT yun. Ayun. Read line returns strings only. Ayun. Line returns strings only. Doubles are task ko sa kanya yun. Task ko sa kanya yun eh. So, you know what? Gagana to ng ng integers lang. Oo, gagana to ng integers lang. Let's try to break it. Anong function nyo? Pwede pan-delete lahat. Pwede ba right click na lang? Yun na nga, isa-isa na nga lang. Ay, hindi nga pala. Integer ba yun? Int lang pala, int. May shortcut nga pala siya dyan. Try ko siyang sirain. Dito. Kasi kanina hindi gumana sa kanya eh. Okay. Gumana. 12, 14, 10, 12. Pero sa bagay, mas may decimal naman kasi talaga ang pag magamit ka ng average. Pag kukuha ng average, lagi may decimal. Which is true. Pero pwede rin. Yaman mo rin. Doubles can be used since it can have multiple integers will still work. Int na lang muna. Kasi pag mo ng average, most likely may decimals yun palagi. So, ito yung first code natin. Men, gusto ko pa. Kaso kailangan na matulog. Yeah, episode 2. So, pituhin ko to siguro hanggang bukas. Hanggang tayo. Hanggang Python, yung alam ko sa Python. So, hanggang ako sa Python, loops. Hanggang loops din gagawin ko. This is fun. Yo, I'm gonna save this.
Yo, let's save this. Average getter.cs. Save that shit, man. C# code. Average getter. Ayun, average getter. Okay na. If gusto nyo, yung code, nasa description. Yo, that's about it for now. Tutuloy ako bukas. Tuloy tayo episode 4. Yo, yeah. C#. Let's go.